back to my channel. This is Katrina Gerard Art. Today we're going to be talking all about brushes. We're going to focus mainly on oil painting brushes and which ones you should buy if you are just starting out. It's going to be a blast and I hope you learned something new. The first brush I'd like to talk about is this mop brush. So these brushes are really awesome for blending. You can use them to blend out really anything. This one I use for clouds a lot in different skies. These bottom two are like sister brushes. I'm sorry, but this smaller brush I've used so much that it looks awful, but it used to look like this one, just with a smaller tip. So you can use these for really anything. If you're painting a person or skin, it's awesome for blending that out. You can really blend out anything, but it's just on a smaller scale compared to that one. A lot of people from my class use e.l.f. brushes, the makeup brush, and those are really cheap and they actually work pretty dang good. I used to have one, but I have used it completely and it's now in the garbage because it's been too used. That one probably is about there too. Okay, this next brush I'd like to talk about is a fan brush. A fan brush is really good for punching different things in. So if you're wanting to punch in grass or weeds, or if you wanted to punch in a little on the corner little leaves or something for a tree, that's a really good brush for that. This one, if you notice, it's a little bit different. It's got a really straight edge, and when you get this with paint on it, it can actually make a really crisp line. So this is really good if you're trying to make a line or something. You can also use it for hair on an animal, and that works really good too. This is an awesome brush. I'm just showing you two of each brush just so you can kind of get an idea of how they work, because there are several different sizes in each category, and I even have more brushes than are here that are in each of these categories as well. This next brush is called an angular brush. Honestly, out of all my brushes, this is one that I use the very least, but I figured I'd mention it because there are a lot of oil painting brushes that look like this. You can take these and also draw on lines. You can make soft strokes with this. And here's one with a little bit less of an angle on it. This next brush that we have here is a filbert. Filbert brushes are awesome for just putting on paint. If you notice, it has just a little bit of a rounded edge on it. So does this one. Filberts are awesome for just putting on a lot of paint. I really like these. I have a lot of different filberts. They are pretty similar to the round brushes and the flat brushes, which we will see in just a second as well. All right, the flat brushes. So these flat brushes are super different, but they're both flats and we use them for different things. So this one's hair is a lot more soft. You can put on water, you can just put on more paint with something like this. It's pretty versatile. This one, on the other hand, I use it for a specific purpose. So this one is really good for punching on grass, weeds. For landscaping pictures, I feel like this brush is a must. It is super, super good for any kind of texture that you want in your painting. This brush does come in a pack of 3, and the other 2 brushes are bigger than it, but I never use the bigger brushes. I just buy the pack of 3 just for this one brush, and it is awesome. All right, these next brushes are bright brushes. It's got a shorter tip and therefore gives you more control. This is a smaller version of a bright brush. This one has more stiff bristles and can put on leaves. It can put on more texture to your painting, whereas this one, I actually use this one a lot for water. I'll take this across a reflection of something, and when I paint the reflection on, I'll just take this over and smooth it out, and it'll make really pretty water lines. So this is a super good brush to have. Next we have the round brush. These are both round brushes. This bigger one, I honestly don't even remember the last time I used this, but this smaller one, oh my gosh, I use it all the time. In my art class, we call this a two-haired brush. I have several of these because pretty soon they become one-hair brushes and then no hair brushes. So these are really good to put in fine detail. If you're painting a face, if you're painting anything really with detail, this is awesome, especially if you get it in some liquid and paint and get just a really thin layer on this brush, then you can go across and make some really intricate details. So it is an awesome brush, the two-hair brush, also known as a round. All right, these next two brushes are just ones that I wanted to talk about real quick. They're both from Bob Ross, and this one I use on every single painting. So if you are beginning to paint and you need a brush, I would 100% buy this brush. It's a 1-inch. What I do is I take this paintbrush with some white paint and liquid, and I completely cover my canvas with it. Then when I go on to put a different color on the canvas, it goes on a lot smoother, a lot easier, and this just puts on paint quickly, easily on your canvas, and is a must-have for any oil painter. This one is more of a luxurious brush. I kind of splurged on this one. So this one has really super fine bristles, and when you paint on a canvas, usually you'll get some brush marks on it. This, when you paint across those brush marks, will just completely smooth out the painting. So if I'm doing a really pretty sky and I've got all these little strokes and different things that I don't want in there, and I just want it to look flawless, I'll go over that sky with this, wipe it off completely, and then go over it again. And this just makes everything super pretty. So I love this brush. It is a little more on the pricey end, but it's been super good. And last but not least, we have our knives. I felt like knives would be a really important thing to talk about because you can also paint with them, and they're actually one of my favorite things to paint with. Well, out of the 3 knives that I have, this is the one that I get the most use out of, this angled knife. What you do is you just stick the paint on either edge, and the fun thing about these is you can get a whole bunch of paint on there, and you don't necessarily need to mix it. You can almost just mix it as you're picking it up and then just slap it on your painting, and you can get way cool effects that you can't get with just a normal paintbrush. So this is an awesome knife. I also use these two if I'm trying to get into little details. I'll use this, and these are really easy to clean compared to brushes, so these are super fun to have as well. There's a lot of different kinds, but I feel like if you get at least 1 or 2 of each of these and you're beginning oil painting, you will be set up for success. I told you which ones are my favorite, which ones are not, and I think you will enjoy them a lot. Also, just to give you one idea of how to transport your brushes, this is just a normal Crumbl Cookies box, but it's so long that it fits every single one of my brushes, whereas if I try and carry them in other containers, I feel like it smashes them. So I can just stick this right inside, all of my brushes right in here, and then it's super easy to transport to my class, as well as if I'm going to go paint outside or do anything else, I can just take this. Of course, if I wanted to make it look cuter, because right now it's looking a little bit ghetto, I could put something over top of this. I could even paint it and make it look cute, and then just be ready to take it. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, make sure to drop a comment below and I will get you answered, and stay tuned for my next upcoming video. Bye!